This is RPT, Red Pill Tamales. It's your boy, and now your host, Chingo Bling. We have DJ producer Big Rob in the building.
Hello, everybody.
And check out this, man. Meme of the day. This is coming from a gentleman I follow on Twitter. He goes by American Islandman. But anyway, here's the meme. I identify as a conspiracy theorist. My pronouns are told you so. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I love my job. I love my job. I get to talk so much shit. Obviously, we're gonna talk about Timcast had Kanye, and he brought him a little +1 and a +2.
Yep.
I don't know if Luke knew who the +1 was gonna be.
I don't know.
But did you tune in?
So last night, the Discord, before we get into the news, my wife, he got me some new boots, right? Chingo was, he's like, I like the boots.
On
like,
fleek,
okay,
brother.
Appreciate it. So I was there while that was going on. Get back home, and people were like, he stormed out. He's out of here. He left or whatever.
Oh, you missed that part.
I missed the whole thing. So I usually wait till the next day to catch up on some of it, every other day or so, because I do listen to Tim more than some other podcasters. But I went back home and I loaded it up, and I was super disappointed in what I saw for the first 20 minutes of that podcast.
Yeah. I caught a piece of Tim Ye.
Yeah.
And I saw when he stormed out and shit. And it happened so fast. I think I was driving and shit. And I'm like, hold on. When I pull over safely, I'm going to rewind this shit and see what the hell happened. And then I hopped on Twitter and I saw other people's reactions where they're kind of like, wow, just the smallest bit of pushback, and then Tim Pool even said like, bro, who's going to want to vote for this, bro? Like the minute you get up on stage trying to debate DeSantis or Trump or somebody.
Yeah. So let's just start with that. Because that's obviously the leading story here, right? So I was disappointed overall by everybody, not just Kanye.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Tim could have done a much better job handling that interview, in my opinion. Like, and the comments were so funny. All the super chats, all the comments, all the tweets, all the comments of the tweet. Because later after that episode, Tim just tweeted out LOL. Mm-hmm. So then I replied to that, you blew it, with the Billy Madison gif, you blew it.
But why did you think he blew it?
Tim always tries to sound superior on the podcast, no matter who's on the show.
Damn.
So if you
calling him a Tim supremacist?
A Tim supremacist. He's always trying to sound superior, and he's always trying to interject with his 2 cents, and that's fine. Like, people don't remember that, or they don't seem to realize that it's not an interview show. He has motherfuckers come on and talk about politics with him or the news with him. And then maybe they'll get to like the last 15, 20 minutes about like, hey, what do you got going on? Or what are you doing? Or what's your book? Or what's whatever. They weren't there. He didn't treat it like anything else. He treated it like every other Timcast. And I thought, he could have done a better job about just letting Kanye speak. Kanye even said, like, I'm not doing this Lex Friedman, chat again. I'm not doing this Pierce Morgan
Kanye was coming in too hot.
Came in super hot.
Yeah, Ye was coming in too hot, meaning I done hopped off the PJ, my boy. You know what I'm saying? We ain't no TSA.
Yeah.
All right? And I just did the Friedman. I just did the Pierce, bro. I just did this. And
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't see me. He's probably like, you don't see they digitally crucifying me out here in these PayPal streets.
Yeah. It was funny to see Twitter react to all that. I think he might have even said, I'm going to take the last little bit of money I got, get another PJ, and hop on out of here if you do that again. He warned him.
Oh, that was it. Oh, see, man, I didn't soak up what he was putting down.
Yeah. And he did it like 3 times. Like he interrupted Kanye, and 2, he kind of like, he was making him have to defend himself again and again for what he's already said, kind of thing. And Kanye,
well, I don't know about defend himself. I think he was saying, bro, you're doing broad generalizations.
Yeah.
And you know who really went hard on them? Anomaly, Dream Rare.
Yes,
on Twitter. He was just kind of like, but see, I love Anomaly. I met him before he came to the show. He was rolling with the people from Lexit. And super cool dude. I love his videos.
Yeah, he was great on the podcast.
And everybody we watch and support, we don't always agree with every single thing.
Yeah.
But he's real quick to hurry up and be like, see, didn't I tell you about Tim Pool? Because he canceled my interview.
Yeah.
And didn't I tell you? And then Tim did a thing where he's like, I wanted Anomaly on the show. Sherry Berry.
Everybody's been Sherry Berry.
He's like, I wanted him on the show. He's like, I don't handle the booking. There's a lot that happens here. I have a compound. I do music videos. I'm on Billboard.
Skateboarding.
I fucking skateboard.
I got chickens to tend to.
This motherfucker does about 8 hours of live streaming every goddamn
got
day.
Fresh eggs to eat.
Because he gets super chats. And pretty soon, look, click back to your angle. Y'all see that green screen back there? I might start doing some lives. And I might start doing some super chats. Because y'all know me, I run my mouth. And people like when you run your mouth.
They do.
But let me say this, bro. you know, I see where you're coming from. Like, damn, y'all could have taken into account and kind of, what do you call it? Nerf padding. Like, don't come at Kanye too hard. You already know he's coming in having to defend himself, even though he wasn't saying like, he might have said I disagree, but he was just saying like, you're making broad generalizations about an entire group of people just because a select few do run the record labels and do run the banks and do run the media. And I know we're not supposed to point out how hardcore sometimes, you know. And then of course Kanye's point of view is, remember my trainer, the ops, the CIA guy who also trained Lizzo and Elliot Page,
Amy Winehouse,
and all these. Amy Winehouse too?
Oh yeah. Was it Brittany Murphy?
Brittany Murphy. What is she? Did she pass?
Brittany Murphy? A while ago. Am I tripping? I believe so. But
I think you're right. Yeah. And I don't know what kind of pills she was on. But anyway, this old MK Ultra head ass boy. This boy work at MK Ultra Fitness. Is he the Canadian CIA? Canadian CIA ops see that's why, like, when we talked about Michael Jackson on one of our previous episodes, I really feel like, yes, it was inappropriate. Like, he was kicking it with kids too much. Like, Michael, get you some grown. Like, I get it, you were famous since you was 5, and you kind of like immature in a lot of ways, and you like fucking Neverland and what is it, Disney, the fairy, the Peter Pan. This motherfucker think he Peter Pan, right? But when you also start to hear about the young teenage pop star guy that just passed.
Carter?
Yes, Aaron Carter, right?
Aaron, the little brother from the Backstreet Boy, right?
So allegedly Aaron Carter had said, if I'm not mistaken, that like his mom and the ops were like, you got to say this about Michael. Say he touched you and he did this and he did that.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that's not true. That's Michael. He's my friend. He never did nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And of course, there's documentaries, but like a lot of times, these little kids that were accusing them, the parents andaban de metiches, like andaban bien alcahuetos and shit since the beginning. Like, no, ve con el señor Michael, ve, acuesta, ve, toma vino, ve, haz lo que pinche juega en Twister. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck. See, ve, llévate la colchita, ve. Like, they sent their kids off, and when as soon as somebody, allegedly, once they had Michael drugged up on that, what's that fucking medicine?
Lithium?
No. Propofol, somebody in their car screaming it right now. Profanol.
Prozac?
No. It literally ends with like, no. It's like Profanol.
Provigil? No
I will say Google it, but...
Provigil.
Man, come on, dog.
It's not Provigil?
No.
Oh, okay.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Okay, sure.
But anyway, the point is, Michael had too much juice. He was buying up the Beatles publishing. He was like Kanye. He was on that billionaire type status. Did he ever hit $1 billion?
I don't think so.
But he was just this mega influential global pop superstar. And the minute he started saying, it's not fair how some of these record labels do you, know? It ain't right. And it's like, hit him with the allegations. Hit him with all type of malarkey.
Well, dude, so to get back to it, right? Because this story is going to take up most of the podcast. I'm just telling you right now because I'm fascinated.
But there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
This is honestly noise, not signal.
It is, and that's what I was about to say.
This is hella noise.
That's exactly what I was about to say. You got the FTX thing unfolding. You got China lockdowns unfolding. You got all kinds of stuff happening. But still, this is important because it's within this whole like party and movement that like we in this whole podcast is kind of based off of, is like these people on the right, these conservatives, like who are the grifters and who are the like, a lot of people are saying that like Kanye's being set up to do these things by people like Milo and people like this Nick Fuentes character, which I really don't know a whole lot about.
I don't know a lot about him either.
I don't know. You can there's a lot of clips of him out of context, I'm sure, which people will say where he says some wild shit. But again, that's the internet, bro. Like that's the internet. Now we got Apple trying to take Twitter off the app.
Oh yeah,
store.
fuck around and find out, Apple.
All kinds of stuff.
And as y'all can see, man, in Rob's shot, go back to your shot. We got Apple products, all buku Apple products.
Nothing but.
It look like Tim Cook's garage in his bitch.
Both of our houses do.
I mean, it's iPad. Todas las niñas, güey, chingo de iPad. Quiero ver YouTube, papi.
Here's the thing that's one of many things that was disappointing about it. And Crowder, he hit the nail on the head. He said, if you're not willing to have the conversations with those people, just don't have them on your show. When Alex Jones was immediately deplatformed, they had him on Louder with Crowder. Mm-hmm. The second time, they got suspended for a week. Tim doesn't want to risk losing his show. I understand. Or losing
Alex
his
Jones
channel.
ain't been on Temple?
Yeah, he has. But I'm saying when he first got kicked off the platforms, when he first got the platform, Crowder was the first person to have him on. It took Rogan like a year to have Alex on after he got deleted from the fucking internet, right? And that's a great point. Like, if you're not willing to maybe get suspended to let the person have free speech, or you're not willing to take a little bit of the heat that's going to come with maybe 3 days of not streaming or demonetizing for the couple of days, just don't invite those people on your show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That was Crowder's.
That was Crowder's take.
Basically saying, Tim, don't invite people if you're. I guess here's the thing, though. Did Crowder acknowledge the fact that Tim lightly pushed back?
He didn't even push back. Do you remember when he walked out of the room? All he said was, "Who is they?" He asked Tim a question, and Tim didn't. He just kind of tiptoed around. He was like, "Well, I'm just not going to use the general like you guys might use they as." And as soon as he said that for like the third or fourth time, Kanye's like, "All right, I'm out of here." Like we can't specify like what I'm talking about. Like you're trying to tiptoe around what I'm saying, kind of thing. Then he just left. He's not, and that's what the Hodge twins even said that like, oh, if Kanye can't take the questions. He was answering the questions. Kanye didn't leave because of a question asked to him. He left because he was asking Tim to, like specify what we're talking about here, and nobody wanted to say it.
Yeah, I think it all happened so fast in the moment that they probably got to go back and dissect it. Like, oh, there's always miscommunication too.
Yeah.
On podcasts where,
well, especially with Kanye,
where somebody is saying something and the other person totally does. They're like, what? He's like, bro, you're not understanding what I'm telling you.
And the tweet I saw from Anomaly was where he was like, Luke, you're garbage for bringing up his, being medicated, and blaming that on why Kanye is, maybe he's a little. In the head because of his being institutionalized before and being, under medication. And then he's like, and Tim's a huge hypocrite because he said, Kanye, you'd be good for the black vote. And then in the next breath said, I don't like identitarianism, but we can't talk about the other group of people. Like all these people, everybody that I love watching and listening to are from time to time completely full of shit.
Well, yeah, that was like Anomaly's main point all the time. Chingo de chisme aquí en
Chingo de chisme,
This
bro.
ain't even cafecito time, and we already having more chisme. And my wife says it all the time. Dudes, y'all worse than broads. And I agree. Dudes be like...
From time to time.
So, not all dudes,
no.
Right? A lot of you... coochie be hurting.
Bro.
Like who coochie was hurting the other day? John Leguizamo's coochie was hurting the other day.
Yep.
But yeah, it's very fascinating. And you know what, man? Like, as things are starting to reveal themselves, as Elon is teasing that he's going to release the inner communications of who knew what when and who all was in the Slack channel going back and forth behind the scenes in the corporate world, who was influencing, putting their thumb on the scale. Why are you not hearing a bunch of leftist accounts that were banned for misinformation or hate speech or whatever? Why aren't you hearing like, oh, here's a list of such and such is back. They brought such and such. Why? Because there was always such a super leftist bias,
right?
That they never were deplatforming people. But Elon is teasing, hey, we're going to release all the communications of all the Twitter employees of who decided to censor the Hunter Biden laptop, the laptop from hell, the hard drive from hell, that had all the collusion in there, and basically like who was involved, like who decided, hey, New York Post, y'all can't tweet right now.
Yeah. Do you have more you want to talk about on the Kanye subject? Because I could go on and on about, but it is puro chisme at this point. It is a lot of noise, and there's a lot of other stories to get to.
I mean, it's a little. I love Kanye to death, man. I think he's a genius musically and fashion, and knowing how to be an energy vampire and getting the conversation always to come back to him, and he could just trend just by fucking snapping his fingers, right? Real quick, we want to take time to shout out our sponsors. Shout out to man, this is family, bro. These are the homies. Y'all know I still put out singles from time to time. I'm always complaining I don't get in the studio enough. But when I do, and I want to release a hot track to all my listeners on Apple Music, Spotify, I make sure I deal with my people. So South Music Distribution, they handle all the digital. And dude, they deal business to business. They deal with artists, mainly. So it's not even really something that the average listener can really take advantage of per se. However, you can go on there and shop on their website. They got vinyl, some classic titles and special releases and stuff like that. Follow them on Instagram, SoSouthTX. But even though they mainly deal with like global distribution of artists and things like that, they're like, hey, we want to show love to the podcast. We work with you already. We support what you do, support your voice. So we appreciate the love. So South. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, SoSouthTX, and of course, hit up the website, SoSouth.com. If you're an artist and you need services like marketing, consulting, they do all that too. They make sure they get all your royalties, all your publishing in more markets. They even submit your music for like movies, television, commercials, and media. Go get some more info right now. Hit up the website, SoSouth.com, and go stream my old catalog, all my old titles brought to you by SoSouth. Get on Spotify, go on Apple Music. SoSouth, make sure all my music is everywhere when you're looking for it. Much love. Back to the show. But it's not a good look when you storming out of stuff and you saying you really gonna run for president.
Yeah.
And you always want to touch on the same subject. Like people like myself, like I was just rooting for him the whole time when I said on this podcast where I'm like, or it might have been Cafecito Time podcast, make sure y'all tune in, where I was saying, never count him out. That was my thing. Never count him out. He's gone from being in debt to like pulling off the impossible, and like who would have ever thought, like when I took a picture with him in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
One day, bro.
Boricua, stand up.
One day, bro. I agreed with people on in our Discord, by the way, patreon.com/redpiltamales. If you want to support the podcast, make sure this never goes anywhere and doesn't have to be beholden to any kind of advertisers. You got to support directly.
Word.
But they were saying, when Chingo goes on Tim Pool, like make sure, Tim doesn't interrupt you.
I fake walk out.
or that too. Just kidding.
I fake walk out of RPT. Big dog.
That would be a real walkout. I'm fucking over this stress.
That'd be a real walkout. Yeah. Rob would be like, okay, he finally did it. Rob wouldn't even know. He'd be like, nah, he for real, dog.
Yeah, I was clueless to it, guys. Sorry.
Rob's like, the writings were on the wall.
For the last 10 months, he's been warning you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Which now's the time.
Crying and complaining.
For the price of a cup of coffee. For the price of boiling water here.
Ooh, Harris County. For the price of a boiled cup of water. Cup of bottled water. Man, I had to take me a whole bath last night, dog. Like I was at the rancho way, a fucking pot. And all our tamalera pots, all our big pots, they at the stash houses, know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Know what I'm talking about? They at the Triznap.
That's right.
You heard me? Let's put something together like the weather.
Around.
Put something together like the weather. And it is tamale season.
Right.
It's in the air. Who knows? I might drop a mixtape.
Ooh, I need to make a candle that smells like tamales and leather because I'm smelling my boots right now and I got tamales on the mind. Oh, that's a good scent.
Tamales on the mind. The mixtape.
There you go.
Tamales and leather.
Dropping
First single.
this winter.
You know what I'm talking about? Doo-doo-doo. So, so I had to get like our regular olla that we have at the crib. You know what I'm saying? We still keep it cultura. But my garage is full of some other shit and I ain't got tamaleras. I got some igloos in that bitch. I got buku foil. Don't think.
Don't be fooled by the foil.
Don't think. I might be back up in it.
Loyal to the foil.
I will. But I had to pull out a regular little soup pot and boil me my little water. Make sure it boils for 3 minutes. I let it sit for a long time.
Damn, he went 3 minutes. This is at 2. Chingo said, I don't trust y'all.
See, there's a lot of fog of war shit. I saw the screenshot was at 3, right? And when your city got dirty water, H-Town, know what I'm talking about? That dirty water.
Dirty water with a low PSI.
Low pressure?
Yep.
So even in a situation like this, which is super hyper local, right? Sometimes people be like, is school canceled? Is it not? Do the kids have school tomorrow? Do they not? What's up with private school? What's going on? Who do we call? Obviously, that's a bad example because you could get info. But some parents at jiu-jitsu were asking me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. She don't go to the motherfucking HISD.
Well, this morning,
you think I worked this hard to have my children in HISD?
That's unfortunate, right? That's a fact too.
That's where all my money goes to all the shit my kids want to do.
All of it. I got to notice this morning that now it's like shifted down to Fort Bend County, which is about 40.
No, are you serious?
I swear to God, yeah. So they were like, and it's only a part of it. And then the next line, this is from KHOU, but schools will not be canceled today. And I was like, damn, ain't that some shit? Didn't they cancel school yesterday in Houston?
HISD, yeah.
did?
Well, my baby goes to school. They're like, nah, this ain't HISD. What you mean? We got gallons of water. What?
Yeah. And holy water. We're good.
What you need? Buku scriptures. Anyway, my point is I took a whole bath.
Oh, right.
So I made my little soup pot, 3 minutes, left it, I turned it off, went to do what I had to do. I'm like, oh, surely by now that bitch is warm. I'm ready to go. And ni madre's way. So look, I was like, I ain't got time to let this shit cool off. I said, fuck it. I'm gonna get a little the little jug I was gonna use. It's actually the baby's jug, so it closes and it comes out like a handheld shower.
Oh, okay.
So it has like a like as if
Like a pot planter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Water, yep.
kind of exactamundo, but
Okay.
it was just a little cylinder. So I hop out, put some cold water out the sink. I'm like, whatever germs is in there, it's gonna die as soon as it hits that hot water. And I'm like, todavía le falta, güey, todavía no está tibio.
It's fucking lukewarm and shit.
No,
They
it was
want
hot
you-
as balls, bro. It was still hot as balls. I ain't gonna lie. So I put some more. I said, fuck it. Whatever little bacteria, hopefully it ain't no brain eating, knock on wood. I don't know what all type of shit allegedly could be in that water. Please, somebody let me know. But I got some more cold water out the faucet. I don't know what's in there. What type of listeria, E. coli, sepa la madre, somebody's pedo juice. And I put it back in the hot pot. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to keep adding city water to this shit. I'm really going to get contaminated.
They literally said, like, clean your, like, dump out all your ice, clean out your ice maker, you know, now that the water. Yeah, I was like, no one's going to do that, by the way. No one's dumping out all their ice.
If it's easy,
cleaning their ice maker.
If it's easy, like, you know, if it just pulls out, you just,
I don't see a lot of Mexicans doing that. I'm not going to do
we
that.
got them strong stomachs.
Exactly.
We got a lead belly.
Exactly. You said something a little while ago that it fucking triggered an idea, but I totally forgot it. By the way, you just licked is that you lick and then knock? Is that have you always done that?
You never heard of this?
I mean, I've heard it on the knocking, but what's with the licking?
Man, you got to lick that hoe, bro.
You gotta lick it?
Yeah.
What does the licking
You got to
do?
lick before you knock.
What's the lick?
Come on now.
Lick before you flick?
You just trying to goddamn.
You gotta lick before
over
you
here
flick.
You over here kicking doors in. Rob, what you doing, bro? You gotta get in the house before you rob the house.
Sometimes you gotta FBI and just.
You gotta pass the guard before you can choke a motherfucker, dog. What you doing?
Okay, I like that.
You see?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get in the house.
That's reminded me. Thank you, genius, Chingo, Kanye Bling over here. Jiu-jitsu, Epsom salt baths. Do you take them?
I have not done that yet.
You should do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Just get like a real. I don't like hot ass baths and hot ass showers. But you got to have a pretty hot water. Put in that cup of Epsom salt with the Himalayan sea salt. With
All
the,
that.
the Epsom and just
That's
makes
after
you.
the kids go to bed, bro.
Yeah, and you pop the chocolate or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way,
It's on deck.
they're coming. It's on deck.
So all the salt drains down the thing? Mm-hmm. Y nada pasa, güey.
No. If anything, it cleans out your pipes.
Are you serious?
Yes. I swear.
The salt would.
Yeah.
All right. Don't be lying, motherfucker, because I had this highest plumbing bill.
It's salt, not fucking sludge.
I mean, just speaking of sludge, Rob had told us to watch Died Suddenly.
Yep.
Documentary. And before we get into that, make sure y'all go ahead and pick up a bag of coffee. We got espresso coming.
Yeah.
The espresso ground, because that was the only complaint my wife had. She's just like, if it just had a... Now, Grind Ops, they got some shit.
Yeah.
They got an extra kick. I just, that was too much for me.
They got shit with little flakes in there, like crystallized caffeine flakes in there.
Yeah, they good shit.
They good.
But anyway, you can order your bag right now of your ground, your regular ground, grindopscoffeeco.com, and you'll find it. Also, Cafecito Time candles available now at twincandleco.com.
That's right.
Shout out to all our sponsors.
Dude, Juan had this idea too, and we'll get to what we were about to talk about. But making like commercials for the things that we promote, that we sell, whether it's your own merch or your own coffee, your own can, whatever it is. So imagine here, like hit a button, and then it just cuts to you doing an actual commercial, like to support today's sponsor, and it's just like a funny, silly.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Wait.
What the fuck happened there, bro?
It was his chair.
Oh,
it's been
gave
broken.
out.
Yeah.
Gave out. Are you good though?
Yeah. It's been broken since it was in the back when I would sit in the corner over there.
Be careful.
No, it's fine.
We do have this other chair right here, my
I
bro.
know, it's fine.
I'm talking about the cognac mahogany.
I was just moving because I felt it. I was just kind of moving like that. Like, this shit's going to give out.
Oh, be careful, dog. See, we got that peanut butter leather too. Know what I'm talking about?
That is a nice, comfy chair.
Coming down. My Monte Carlo used to have seats this color.
Word?
Yes, sir.
Oh, the one that's in your Facebook picture?
I don't know what's on my Facebook picture.
Oh, yeah, you probably haven't looked at that in years. But
I
no,
don't know what's in that.
it's anytime Chingo's buy a car, the comments like, is this Chingo's car? Because you do so many car shows back in the day.
Oh, back in
They
the
would think
day.
they're all your
Yeah.
cars.
Well, people would always be like, hey, when you're done, when you get off stage,
Yeah.
come by. We over here, man. Rollers only.
Hey, real quick, Chingo was hit the floor real fast when that
Man, I was like, they shooting. They shooting. HISD. First of all, the private school, we want to take the 4-year-old too, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, they got buku security.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got buku security. So it's kind of like, yeah, ain't nothing going to happen here,
No.
kinfolk. Ain't nothing happening here, kinfolk. And it makes you wonder, why wouldn't they? You could probably answer this better before we go into the Die Suddenly doc. But like, I went to that bougie ass prep school for high school, so I don't even know what the fuck regular fucking high school was gonna be like. I was zoned to Milby. I was gonna start going to Booker T. Washington and Houston, but then I got shipped off. But like, don't it make you think, bro? Like, wouldn't they by now make it a thing where, I mean, most schools have at least one fucking security guard, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
at least, okay. And how does all this stuff always happen? They don't end up making it, or they needed more backup, or like Parkland and all. I mean, maybe back in Columbine they didn't have that.
Did you go to a school where you would see armed like security or cops or
Bro, we had this one old man, bro. He'd walk around in a little Bronco, like a white OJ Bronco. He looked like we used to call him Fire Marshal Bill. So late night in the dorm, like if we wanted to act a fool, or like say somebody was gonna sneak out of the dorm, anything like that, they'd watch and see a Fire Marshal Bill just pass, give him about 2 minutes. But he had him a little revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I really remember.
Do you remember feeling any certain kind of way about it?
About the teacher?
Fire Marshal Bill, yeah.
About the gun?
Yeah, just about having someone with, an armed...
I mean, I was in high school and I don't really think I like thought about it that much, but obviously now it's a fucking common sense grown up that grew a brain. It's like, hell yeah, we need more guns.
Yeah, it's crazy because like my school was tiny. Like I had a graduating class of like 200 kids, and we had always there was like at least 3, if not 4 cars always going back and forth because the schools were all pretty close by. Like the elementary school was like 5 miles down the road, the high school was like 2 miles this way, and then they had like a middle school that was like 3 miles the other direction. But there was always, I mean, you would always see them like all day long, 5 days a week, always circling around. And then I see these big schools and it's always seems like there's a lack of even having a single somebody close by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really don't know, but I guess the main question is like when shit does go down, obviously in Uvalde, it was like, well, who left the door open? Where was the security guard? Where was he?
Yeah.
And then not to mention you had buku police show up and then they over here fucking around with hand sanitizer and doing goofy shit, right? And that's a whole fucking cover up and debacle within itself. But anyway, that was a random thought. Now, last night,
Yes.
Marisol and I, we finally were like, all right, okay, I guess tonight's the night. We're going to watch Died Suddenly on Rumble because you probably can't have that shit on YouTube. When I tell y'all, it stressed me the fuck out. I honestly feel like at some point we're like, man, turn this shit off. Because the whole time I'm like...
Details.
Like, so that's how I started on my Elon Musk Twitter rant. Like, as he's going to reveal...
Right.
As what happened at the Balenciaga photo shoot revealed itself. Like, what? What kind of sick motherfuckers? And then don't think a lot of the shit that's going on at the border, don't think a lot of that ain't resulting in children being trafficked, right? Don't sit up here and be naive thinking like, oh, you got all kind of people going back and forth. Don't nobody know. You got gotaways. You got all this shit. And you're telling me there's no malfeasance as people are getting flown out, flued out, bussed off, dropped off, picked up, NGOs, Catholic charities. Some went through the private ranch, broke the fence. You know what I'm saying? Some went through the Gap in Arizona. Some wandering around Yuma because there was no border patrol around to check in, et cetera, et cetera. Now there's some new shit with the Venezuelans were attacking some CBP. Another CBP person died in Puerto Rico or something. Then you got the suicide rate. It's such a big mess that the media isn't even covering at all. But as all this stuff is exposing itself, the fibrous blood clots, the weird blood, the separation of the blood, the espresso grinds in the blood, and the embalmers having to say, hey, a lot of these folks don't have autopsy, right? Mm-hmm. So by the time it's the embalmer's job to run some tubes and flush some stuff out so they could fill them up with, preserve the body, the cadaver, with embalming fluid, formaldehyde. Some people call it fry when you dip the stick. You know what I'm talking about? You on them fry sticks and you on that water. These embalmers are being whistleblowers and they're just basically like, hey, I talked to other embalmers, people with 50 years experience, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years experience. And like, have you ever seen these weird calamari like some be a foot long, some got blood clots attached to them. You know, they're ringing a bell.
So, what time did you watch this? Was it late last night? Like it was the last thing y'all did?
It was like, yeah, we're in bed.
What did my soul think of it? Because I've been asking.
No, it wasn't the last thing we did before bed.
Oh, Okay, all right.
Come on now, that one the only calamari.
That's
Know
what
what
he's
I'm
talking
talking
about, licking it before he knocks it. You know what I'm saying?
That one the only calamari.
Okay.
Calamari. That's not even good.
Calamari.
Ain't that like
Okay.
ain't that rubbery and floppy? Somebody might have seen some stiff calamari,
You know, you're picking up what I'm putting down.
some stale calamari.
You know, if
So
baby's
anyway,
gonna keep you up, might as
so
well.
so we saw it late at night. You were
Yeah.
saying.
So what did y'all make of it? Like, how did y'all go to sleep? What was the last thing y'all said about what y'all saw? Because not a lot of people are talking about it. That's not true. When it came out last week, a couple days ago, it was trending on Twitter. There were a lot of discussions on Twitter. But when I say not a lot of people, I'm talking about these mainstream, lamestream legacy media people.
Yeah, no, it was like it was a mix of emotions, right? Because you're trying to perceive it, but you're tuning out the edits and the cuts, and you're trying to tune out the ominous music that sometimes kicks in.
It was great music, by the way.
I mean,
it had like an 80s vibe to it.
Yeah, but like I'm wise enough to try to tune that out because I want to look at, okay, who is this person? What makes them credible? Why is this man who was, I guess, what was he, a big millionaire donor? Like Peter Shirts or something. I don't know if you remember his name, but like
remember his name.
he was like a big donor for vaccinations, and him, his wife, and all his kids are jabbed up. And I don't know about boosted up, but they jabbed up. And he even was like, yo, some shit came to my attention. And he's like, we need to have a discussion about this. He said, I don't know if he went in front of Congress or something. He's like, I got $1 million, maybe two, to put up right here to anybody from Big Pharma, any of these people that's going to sit right here with me. And we're going to go back and forth on this data. And we're going to talk about why is there a 400% increase in this? Why is there 1,000% increase in stillbirths? Why are we all of a sudden, what's this calamari shit?
Remember when Dr. Peter McCullough was on Rogan and he talked about it? I forgot the guy's name that you're referencing, that he would offer, I think, $1 million, and nobody took it. Then he said, I'll offer $2 million, whoever will come in and just have a debate. Not win the debate.
He's like, that's how you know they're all paid off.
Right. So would you think that it's like too far-fetched to think that enough people have been just duped by everything, that they've gone along with it, they've promoted it, they've vouched for it, all while just having been lied to, and now they're all kind of finding out about it?
Well, the most impactful liar, right, is this lady, and I didn't take notes, so I didn't write down. Like, she was the director of the CDC who was in charge of this and that, right? But it was basically a lady whose role it was going to be to actually look at the data. If you're going to be invited on MSNBC and say, oh, yes, we've seen that it is safe and effective for pregnant mothers and babies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the Asian lady, right? I think her name was Dr. Grace or Lee, something. I don't know. Well, he went to her house. He's like, she ain't been replying to my email. He's like, I know all these people.
Yeah.
He's like, she ain't been replying. She ain't been texting back. I got her cell phone. She's ignoring me. And I'm asking her, what study did you reference? How did you know? Have you looked at the data for you to be out here saying X, Y, Z? And basically, she called the cops on him. Basically, tried to treat him like a stalker. And the cops were like, "Sir, you got to leave. She don't want to talk to you." He's like, she's my friend, and I want to just check up on her because is she okay? She ain't been replying. Yada yada. It's all on cam. And so the mix of emotions was like, fucking like. I mean, just that truth pill hitting you, you're just like angry. Like, these sons of guns, like, no wonder they wanted to hide the data for X amount of years.
70 years.
No wonder you can't sue them. And then he shows, whoever the director, editor, they're showing the footage of the people going on TV, Wazinski and all these people, not to mention the Stephen Colbert's and the Jimmy Kimmels and the La MSNBC lady with the short hair.
Maddow.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow. And
La MSNBC señora.
well, I didn't want to say like parece marimacha.
Like que se parece como Colbert.
Rachel Marimacha. No, güey, porque te corren. Güey, te va.
Rachel Marimacha.
First of all, why Balenciaga ain't had a bank shit froze up?
Bro, that story continues to get wilder and wilder.
Why the fuck Kim K divorced her husband over a MAGA hat, but she over here saying, I don't know what we gonna do about Balenciaga. We got to play it by ear.
Where's the list? Where's the client list? Where's the island list?
Why it say CIA in the middle of Balenciaga?
Bruh.
I got some Balenciagas right there that I'm put on goddamn off-road. I ain't finna burn them.
I was about to say, I'm waiting for you to burn them like Bryson
I ain't
did
finna burn
yesterday.
He burned some?
He burned
Hell no.
some red and white ones.
You little bitches gonna have to buy them off of motherfucking offer up. Fuck them hoes. No way. Like, just like this crazy fucking world where like, I know me, when I first heard of like Alex Jones and people be like, bro, it's a whole global, bro, it's a conspiracy this. And I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. What are you saying? Who? Where's the source?
Who's they?
Yeah, what's the source? Dude, I'm telling you, it's a cabal. And they elitist pedophiles. And they ordering hot dogs. Look at the email. They found Barack Obama email. Look at the pizza. Something about the pizza. All I'm talking about pizza and shit. No, can't nobody order this much pizza. It's like, what is the pizza? They got tunnels under this. And Alex Jones said that. And then the Vatican. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. That shit don't affect me. Now all this shit's coming out. Balenciaga. Look at the picture. Zoom in. Look at these documents. What the fuck is that court case? Who approved that bullshit?
The photo shoots, man. Who are the creative directors for all those different shoots, right?
Well, yeah, no, you ain't seen the picture of the lady?
The one covered in red?
There's like a couple of them. Yeah, that's one of them.
And the other one was like the one that did the Lady Gaga meat suit. Remember that from like the VMAs or a couple of award shows ago, years ago?
Was it real meat?
It was. I don't know. It looked like real meat. Could have very well been real meat.
Fucking disgusting.
Let's pretend that it was real meat. Real meat. It's better for the podcast.
Shit, all that roast beef flapping out.
Legitimately. So then that director, artist, whatever, had like another piece of art. You know, I like how everything can just be cloaked in its art, right? I love art. I love being able to people express yourselves and do all kinds of crazy nonsense and shit. But they have like a body that's mushed up that looks like ground beef until it gets to the legs, and then the legs are just cut up like people that like, you know, cut themselves and shit. That was one of their like, it was like the Lady Gaga picture. This is the artist that did that. You swipe the fucking photo and it's like a ground beef body down to like the legs just below the knee. And I'm like, what is
that a picture? Like something
it was something that they had
posted?
done. Yeah, something that the creative director had come up with or whatever.
Was it baby legs or like adult human legs?
This was adult.
Okay, well, see, that's a little different. I'll give that shit a pass. But
for Rob Zombie, maybe.
I mean, I give it a pass in terms of like, you're allowed to be expressive and you're allowed to be creative. However, I totally understand artistic license and being able to say like, well, the take we were going with the theme for the inspiration. It's like, okay, go on. Okay, explain this theme. It's like, well, it's a little bit of bondage, and I know there's children, and then there's this book that deals with this, and then there's a picture in the background that deals with this, and then supposedly that creative director's Instagram had all these like, I don't know if they're like test shoots maybe for other clients, and like some of the shit looked like some violence and like human trafficking. Like all the models were bruised up.
Oh, yeah.
Just a bunch of weird shit, and it's like, okay, now y'all starting to reach, trying to make human trafficking cool and shit.
So why does Balenciaga go ahead and delete their Instagram and their Twitter then?
I think they deleted all the posts off Balenciaga, or they deleted the account.
The Twitter I saw was the account. The Instagram was all the posts.
Honestly, that's a very good question.
Like I told Mighty Soul, this is why you're thinking about it, I guess, is that I bet you, like I asked her, how do you want to bet, how much do you want to bet that there are many other brands right now going back and trying to scrub all the shit that they are also maybe doing that are along those lines, right? Would you agree with that maybe?
Well, yeah, I think it's safe to say that, hey, maybe we should see that. Remember our other creative director? He was a little weird.
Yeah.
Was some of those ideas really cloaked as something else?
So when go ahead, sorry.
Nah, and of course they just got to really think to themselves like, hey, we don't do any like shoots with kids, right? No, sir, we got rid of our kids department in '97.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you think that's like a valid? Like, didn't Balenciaga say they're suing the photographer or creative director for that ad campaign? Like, could a brand be so detached from a campaign at the top that they can not know what they're rolling out?
I think to a certain extent, you can kind of use like that is a way to buffer themselves and
from responsibility?
insulate themselves. Basically saying, this was a third party contractor that we hired. This isn't an employee. I don't know how those checks are cut. If it's like, no, this motherfucker's in-house and they're on salary. You know, I don't even know if that makes a difference. But how do they atone themselves of all guilt and just be like, oh no, that was just one, hey y'all. Cause think about it. How many celebrities jumped on Ye? They quick to jump on stuff. They quick to call out Elon Musk. They throwing away their Teslas. They buying Volkswagens. Like they doing all this performative shit, right? And Balenciaga does this goofy shit. All of a sudden, it's crickets. All the people, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, the only one that can, she's like, okay, it took me 6 days. And then somebody pointed out that they had North wearing this weird little gimp leather mask thing. At one of their like Paris something or other a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you...
No, I didn't.
Yeah. And some of the stuff is kind of like, well, that doesn't mean that they were like... The argument was, what do you expect from the lady, Kim K, who has the perks and the status of being able to call up all the designers and get custom Marc Jacobs and, you know, I think I'm going to go with Fendi on this. And you know what I'm saying?
What were her comments? Do you know about it? Because she was like, I think I'm going to have to reevaluate my relationship with Balenciaga.
Basically, it wasn't as stern as motherfuckers talk about J6ers or MAGA people or Elon Musk or Kanye being an anti-Semite.
It's wild, man. And then you have I didn't even pull it up, but I'll tease it and I'll bring up the video and maybe discuss it further on Thursday's episode. Tampax's campaign.
Who? Tampax. What they do?
They have 2 trans men. I think Dylan's one of them, and another guy as that's who their sponsored endorsers are for the products.
Yeah, bro, that don't make no sense, bro. It must be some ESG score stuff.
You nailed it, right?
Is that what it was?
I mean, that's what I had. That's what I think. That's just when
it's goofy.
It doesn't make any sense.
And it don't make no sense.
Not even a little bit.
Because you just got a couple of like mentally ill people that got a little dysphoria.
Yeah.
Or was it dysmorphia?
At this point, it's everything. Están malitos de madre.
Todo way.
Todo. You're not gonna, unless you're bleeding out of your butt. That's for a whole nother reason.
And not to mention the fact that Mulvaney is such a little troll. You know what I'm saying? Like,
apparently, allegedly, I read that somebody had one of his friends, will say, or somebody close to him, asked him if he was going to chop it off, and he said, "No, it's too pretty."
I don't know how Rob found that.
Hey,
firsthand account.
Don't turn it around on me.
Apparently, one of his friends.
Allegedly, somebody.
That's what I heard.
Sources close to the subject.
The View, bro. You know what The View said about the Balenciaga thing? If I'm not mistaken, they said something like, and I may be wrong, because they might have said this about something else. Like, oh, this is just going to play into the hands of the alt-right, and they're just going to use it to twist it up into something or other. Was it about Balenciaga?
Wait, who said?
The View.
What? No, I didn't catch that.
Basically, if I'm not mistaken, The View said, oh, well, the worst thing about this is it's going to play into the hands of the alt-right, and it's going to become one of their talking points. The right wing is going to use it as a talking point.
How do you think that, in a beneficial kind of a way? Because
basically saying like, and again, I don't even know if that was in reference to the Balenciaga, right?
Yeah.
Just fill in the blank.
Sure.
But basically, instead of actually condemning the thing, they more making a fuss over like how it could be used against the left.
Gotcha. I think that could be, but again, that's all goes back to the noise, right? This is all just noise.
And people, this one thing that gets under my skin.
Tell me.
When I got in this rap shit, I know this somebody might be like, oh, he's talking shit. When I got in this rap shit, bro, I didn't come in up under nobody. I ain't never signed to nobody. I did a pressing and distribution deal with Asylum, a P&D. You know what I'm saying? A little 70-30. I'll let you eat.
Okay.
But people be thinking like, oh, I remember you was with that crew and you was over there with that rapper. And it's like, oh, no. No, sirree. That man was in hot water, already going in the can by the time I was even stepping in the game.
Yeah.
It was just happened on the timelines of where things were. But don't ever misconstrue and make it think, oh, man, I remember you back in the such and such days and you was over there with such and such. You know, so let's just nip that in the bud.
For sure. Here's something out of left field I think is interesting. Joe Biden's official Twitter account has not tweeted anything out in 3 days.
Okay. What's the theory?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there because they got this huge runoff going on in Georgia, Warnock. And
is he boycotting Twitter?
I don't know.
You heard the White House say they're keeping an eye on Elon Musk's Twitter.
What does that even mean?
KJP, bro.
So I did see that Elon, you kind of mentioned it earlier, that he said, soon I'm going to post the files of the free speech, anti-free speech or anti-whatever on Twitter, about Twitter on Twitter, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like
the
super
transparency.
That's something like that, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because you what's that guy? Is it James Lindsay? No, not James Lindsay. The guy that got banned and then got back on Twitter.
He might be one of them. James Lindsay
Maybe.
sounds like one of them.
No, but the guy that wrote the COVID books. Highway. So, had to move cars. You brought up a clip as I was walking in where that's on today's stories. The CCP, China. We're not talking about the Chinese people. We're talking about China.
Yeah, we're not talking about old hundred names, Lao Beijing.
Yeah, we're talking about the CCP. One of the things that
We're talking about the transnational cartel.
100%, right? With the one belt. What is it? With the one.
One belt, one road.
One belt, one road. They're limiting Apple. Apple is limiting tech there to a degree that's pretty interesting. They are limiting AirDrop, and this is what I read, to 10 minutes to anybody around you. And after 10 minutes, it'll automatically only switch over to contacts only. So you can only switch files and exchange information with somebody who's already in your contacts. Not only that, but they're going to supposedly possibly roll this out like worldwide.
Roll it out to where you can't AirDrop shit.
Unless the contact is in your phone.
Okay, well look, wait till the Elon phone drop. I'm gonna be
Ready for that e-phone?
Hell yeah, the tech. Call it what you want. It could be the Tesla phone,
It gotta be the e-phone.
the boring company phone, the E phone.
The e-phone.
I'm on the E.
I'm on the E.
Hit me on the E.
I'm on the I still. I don't fucks with the I.
Man, bro, like today, I had to fucking go to the mailbox, and I'm pulling out chingo de anuncios y chingaderas from the previous resident, our neighbor, que la chinga. Oh, half the shit ain't ours. And then you see some type of like, I don't know if it was like Best Buy, some type of oferta, right? It has all these logos on there like ESPN, Apple, Disney, yada, yada, yada. Like it must be maybe a cable package or some
bundle
sort.
or something.
Something like that. And I'm like, wow, these logos hit different as of late. Because now I'm looking at the Apple logo funny. I'm looking at the Disney logo sideways, ESPN, y'all too. And DeSantis, you know, Governor Beast Mode. Governor Beast Mode, Trump, al alba, güey, ponte las pilas, cabrón. So check out what Governor Beast Mode said as he pointed out the way Apple and them are behaving. Here we go.
Reports that Apple is not allowing the protesters to use this AirDrop function where they're trying to communicate. That obviously is providing aid and comfort to the CCP. And so you see that report, and that's very concerning. And then when you also hear reports that Apple is threatening to remove Twitter from the App Store because Elon Musk is actually opening it up for free speech and is restoring a lot of accounts that were unfairly and illegitimately suspended for putting out accurate information about COVID. That's like one of the main things that's being reinstated. So many things these experts were wrong at, and you had people on Twitter that were calling that out. And Twitter, the old regime in Twitter, their response was to try to just suffocate the dissent. And Elon Musk knows that's not a winning formula, and so he's providing free speech. And so if Apple responds to that, by nuking them from the App Store, I think that would be a huge mistake, and it would be a really raw exercise of monopolistic power that I think would merit a response from the United States Congress. And so don't be a vassal of the CCP on one hand and then use your corporate power in the United States on the other to suffocate Americans and try to suppress their right to express themselves. And so I'm glad things are changing at Twitter. And I know there's a lot of work to do with big tech generally, but this is big progress, and we're really happy that is now happening.
It's amazing that folks on the left have such I guess derangement syndrome about DeSantis and Elon Musk. Like they really feel threatened. Again, we don't have our pom-poms out for Elon Musk. There's a lot of shit you got to watch about him, including how much Chinese money he used to buy Twitter. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some of the shit he's doing over at Twitter, like, hey, what's up with Alex Jones, big doc? You ain't gonna bring the homie back? But anyway, we don't have our pom-poms out for him. But it's crazy how everything DeSantis just said, how can somebody who could be Democrat, liberal, progressive, whatever, like, how can you not be like, unless you just hate this country and you just want to see everything collapse and you like censorship for whatever fucked up reason, somebody brainwashed you. Not a good time, people calling me. Like, how can you not hear everything DeSantis said and not kind of agree? Like, you know, that is kind of fucked up. Like, in other words, do y'all not see how Apple is behaving in terms of like some technocratic, big tech overlord, Silicon Valley oligarch? Like, y'all getting all this money. What would Steve Jobs think about some of the stuff that they're doing? Like, bro, y'all are interfering. Y'all are taking the side of the CCP and helping them facilitate this tyrannical dictatorship.
Is it too far-fetched to think that it's normal for people to want to be governed? You know, like, people are looking for a higher power. Like, if you don't believe in God, for instance, you got to believe in somebody to take care for your well-being, look out for your best interests, you know, guide you and your family if you have
The government
one.
becomes their God.
Exactly. Yeah. Not just the government itself, but any kind of political figure, right? Arguably, you know, Jesus was a political figure of sorts to some people, and now they might use the same kind of, you know, comparison to say that people on the left today need somebody to take care of them, to make them feel safe, to let them know everything's going to be okay. And it just so happens that they're usually a little bit on the more gullible and easier to brainwash side.
Wait, they're easier to brainwash because of why?
They're just more susceptible to being like lied to. Like, people on the left today, you could be told that Dylan Mulvaney and this other guy, whoever's on that campaign, should be
Are women.
They're
trans women.
and should be endorsed by Tampax, and this is a great campaign. And you're
I
like,
wonder how much they get paid, bro.
See if I can look it up real quick.
And what do they say? That's so crazy.
We'll go out on the story if I can find it real quick. Tampax is the brand, right? Yeah, Tampax. Did you ever think you would say this in your lifetime?
What? That dudes endorse,
being
like, man, it's so goofy, bro. And to add on to what you were saying about like people being gullible versus, you know, people who maybe love this country and are somewhat educated as to like why the founding fathers set it up the way it is. Like, you were born with the rights God gave us. Like, like according to the founding documents of this free country, you're born with the 2A. Like, you born with all these inalienable rights. Obviously, the federal government, that's supposed to play their role, but this shit done turned into a swamp. And I you know, I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm gonna call these people fascists, but the way they're colluding with the big tech oligarchs, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I'm looking, peeps. How a tampon company's tweet ignited calls to boycott Tampax. This is from the Daily Beast, not a very reputable source, but nonetheless, let's see real quick.
It's got to be somewhat reputable.
Yeah, well, I guess. Just because it's known doesn't make it reputable, right? I don't even have the tweet.
Aren't they from like UK or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Hey, real quick, you want to appreciate dude's, whoops.
Look at Buddy. Bro, man.
Shout out to Instagram.
Man, this little boy got on some little bitty drawers. This the same kid that was saying normalize the bulge.
That's right.
Getting a paycheck, getting that grift money,
Dude.
picking up a bag from Tampax. He's like, yeah, bitch, I'm on estrogen, ho. But you know what my thoughts were last night after watching that documentary, Died Suddenly, and just seeing about like, damn, Balenciaga in your face with it, bro. Like, they went all out. Like, seeing all this stuff, Elon Musk is teasing how he's going to reveal the transparency of what the fuck really was going on. And I think he said far left Berkeley, San Francisco area views were being propagated throughout the country via this propaganda machine called Twitter. Do you remember that part? He didn't say it in those words, but he said Berkeley, San Francisco area far left views were being propagated throughout the country via Twitter.
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
So all this pinche caldo de sopa de maruchan, way of fucking like Balenciaga, this, that, Kanye on Tim Pool. It's like, the fucking simulation is doing the most right
Yes,
now.
it is.
I literally told my wife, the simulation going ham right now.
Bro, I say that all the time. Like I 100%, and I told you this when I first met you, like when we would talk about shit like this, just kind of heady, that I believe we're in some sort of a matrix. And I think from time to time, it kind of winks at you. Right now, I think it's in full, like it's collapsing in a sense. Like the matrix is, what do I always say? The matrix is glitching is what I always say. And I feel like there's just constant glitches. Just last night, honestly, to see Kanye across the table from Tim Pool talk about these stories that are over the last week and a half. Oh, the Trump dinner, and Nick Fuentes was there, and Milo's back after 5 years of not doing any interviews.
Why did he get kicked off? Who's that? What is he about?
Milo? He was a huge Trump supporter when he was, he was like an openly gay Trump supporter who was just like, he would say some wild shit on the internet. I never really followed Milo. I never watched any interviews with him when he was popping.
What made him get kicked off?
Some remarks that he said. I don't remember exactly. I couldn't tell you exactly
He
what
probably
it was.
dead name. There's no telling these days.
Yeah, there's no telling. So,
especially at one point, you might have just been like, hey, I don't think it's safe and effective like they saying.
yeah. Here, before we leave, let's go to the Discord real quick. Just answer a couple of these Discord questions. I put this in the politics, Juan Vic Stoner. I put this in the politics page, but the question always remains the same. Who watches The Watchmen? A former FBI informant now facing life sentence for rape conviction comes clean about a terrorism sting he helped engineer. All while a 12-year-old girl's rape kit containing his DNA sat untested on a nearby shelf in Seattle.
On his shelf?
Who watches The Watchmen, Chingo?
Watchmen. I don't even. Is that the one? It's like superhero-ish.
Well, that's the movie, but I think Juan's that who watches the people that are supposed to be watching other people.
Oh, okay. I thought you literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I never watched it. I heard it was good though.
Okay. Damn. That's a crazy ass story.
Yeah. So, and it kind of goes into what we were talking about just a second ago. Like people love to be taken care of and governed and watched over and like feel like somebody's got your best interest in mind. Can you honestly say that anybody that isn't maybe your wife and children have your best interest in mind? I would like to think maybe me, but anyway, you know what I mean?
I mean, you asking the wrong person because, I mean, after watching Die Suddenly, I was like, I don't know how much I trust any poke.
For sure.
Because you got buku pokes for the kids as they coming up. Oh, how old are you do for about 6 more pokes.
Yeah, and there's this video of George Clooney going viral again. Do you remember? Did you see it recently?
Yeah, what was that about?
It was from like early lockdown days.
And he was talking about the overpopulation, right?
And he was also asked what he thought about like the forced jabs and this, that, and the other on set. He goes, I'm for it. I feel like, everything should be forced and they should say, this and don't question it. And it's for the safety of the people. Just without skipping a beat, he's just like, yeah.
And at the same time, and on the other side of his mouth, he's saying, we got too many people and we need to trim the population.
Oh, in that movie Died Suddenly, or in the doc, they had that,
that clip.
The founder of CNN, I didn't know that, was the person to first propagate that whole there's too many people on this planet, right?
I don't know if he was the first. Ted Turner.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the first.
No?
No, I just think he was like a billionaire tycoon that got persuaded by somebody's little junk science.
Oh, okay.
But
maybe he was the first person of that caliber to start saying that.
I don't know if he was first, second. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe.
Let's say an early adopter of that philosophy.
The reason I just feel like that type of shit is going to be some type of Bilderberg type person, right? That type of family. And they're going to be able to buy their scientists and fund and publish. And, the way the money was circulating with grants and shit like that.
Dude, speaking of funding, the Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX.
Yeah.
He, or FTX, I think it is, funded one of the early jab studies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That was referenced by who?
Congress.
Israel or something?
Somebody that ended up making its way to Congress, I believe.
Because Israel's data was fucked up too.
Yeah, well, all of it.
China wasn't being transparent, but I'm going to let you finish. I think, who was it? Fauci, Natalie Winters talked about this, right? So I'm going to check her Twitter. Fauci had this one cat, like Clifford something.
The big red dog?
No, Cliff somebody, right? His job was to go kick it in China and get a report and just come back or whatever, right?
With intel.
Something like that, right? And then he comes back and says, hey, they're really pushing their lockdowns. Lockdowns seem to be working. And then Fauci's like, okay. And then boom, now they telling the White House, they hopping at the podium. Now he got convenient amnesia. All of a sudden, he's like, I ain't tell y'all to lock shit down.
Yeah.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all trying to, that's the right. trying to use that for their little political campaign. Y'all over here attacking science. But it's like, bro, who's this Clifford guy? Why were you trusting him from a country who wasn't being transparent with none of their data? Well, we work with those scientists a lot. And yeah, bitch, you was funding them. And we saw your emails saying the masks don't work and shut down the Great Barrington Declaration and so on and so forth.
An unelected bureaucrat like that guy running the shit for 40, 50 years, almost 50 years, I think. Hella years,
But
right?
you were saying something.
Well, what was I saying?
I'll cut you off.
No, that's fine. We were talking about...
Tim Pool on you.
We were talking about... shit.
SBF, FTX.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Funded a study.
They funded the jab study early on that was referenced by other countries, other leaders, and I think even our own Congress in debates or in hearings about the efficacy of everything.
Yeah,
and
safe and effective.
Yeah.
That way, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden, all these motherfuckers said, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective.
Bro, and with all this said, to round out this hour of the podcast, this kind of like we're seeing with now Apple and Twitter and, you know, off our app store, and we don't like free speech and like careful where you say this. It seems like Rumble.
It's not censorship, it's misinformation.
Exactly, right? So if you want people like us to continue talking about this stuff that you're not going to hear very many other places, and you want a little bit more than Ben Shapiro is going to give you, and maybe even a different direction that what some people call Crowder Ben Shapiro light, you know, stuff, which is funny, but even Crowder might not get into this. This is what I did. Right after I heard the first 20 minutes, I actually listened to about 34 minutes of Kanye and Temple. And I didn't say this at the beginning of the show, they started railing against Kanye. Like, the first they were rude. They got Kanye to get up, which doesn't take much, right? Get up and leave. And then just start bashing him for like the next 2 hours, right? About just how bad of a guest and this, that, and the other, and just shitting on him. And I'm like, all right, you didn't like the way it went. I get it. But just a bad approach overall. Bad taste in my mouth. I had to go cleanse my palate by listening to Conspiracy Social Club. I needed Sam Tripoli to cleanse my palate for the debacle that was that fucking podcast.
Sam got a whole bunch of podcasts, and they're fire.
Yeah, man. Sam's killing it. Callan, even though you don't agree with Callan, it's fun to see the dynamic. But man, Sam's been talking about this since like Alex Jones. He's been talking about this shit since the Naughty Show, like early days of Death Squad Naughty Show at the Ice House in California.
Like what, forced jabs? And
not the forced jabs, but like all of the, all of the conspiracies around some of the people that, you know, Kanye has referenced and all that kind of stuff. Just crazy stuff that now later, Epstein even, the crazy conspiracies with children and shit like that. Like, Sam's been talking about that for a long time too.
Yeah, dude. It's disgusting that it's all coming to light. I mean, it's good that it's coming to light, but it's disgusting to know that it was there the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It makes you really think, like, bro, how many of these motherfuckers really be on that shit, dog?
The internet is making it all fall apart right now. It's taken a long time though. Like, if you just think back 15 years, you know, early 2000s, it was like, nah, we got this. We can work around this internet, right? Social media.
They don't know that's Big Mike.
Exactly.
They don't know that's Big Mike. She cool. Let her make it.
She's got another book out, I think. Do you want to pick it up?
Ain't she oppressed or something? Because talking about her hair, America wasn't ready for the dong, the hammer, and the hair.
Was she really the one that was in Paul Pelosi's house? Giving her that
the intruder.
Hammer? Know what I'm saying?
Boom.
Gave him the Terminator.
El martillazo. All right, y'all.
Martillo Tejano.
El Martillo. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is RPT. Please tell a friend. Be a force multiplier. Follow on the YouTube, RPT Studios. A lot of shorts, a lot of clips. Hey, share them with your friends. And we'll see you on the Discord chat room exchanging memes. Sas.